Hey there YouTube, Viktor Thorup, multiple times Olympian and Bachelor in Health and Nutrition, back here with a very exciting review. In this video, I'm going to take a closer look at this device, the Nnoxx Muscle Oxygen and Nitric Oxide Tracking Device. If you've been following this channel, you might already know that I am pretty big on muscle oxygen and having live insights in your intensity as you're out training. I've used the Grassport device, I've been working with ear, but this guy right here and the company Nnoxx, they have really taken things to a whole new level. They managed to create some wonderful software and make a device that is very useful in tracking your intensity in your daily training and also performance assessments. This thing has a bunch of cool features, some technology that's literally $1 million technology, and I am very excited to dive into that with you guys in this video. I've been playing around with this guy for a month now, using it in basically all sports modalities and found it super useful. I'm gonna dive into why muscle oxygen and especially nitric oxide is some key numbers to track and use in your training, and also obviously how to use the Nnoxx device and what it actually allows you to get in terms of insights and just performance. Now, why exactly is it so interesting to track muscle oxygen? Oxygen fuels muscle contractions, and that is what allows us to continue doing sports at a high level. Nitric oxide, on the other hand, the Nnoxx device is the first one that actually tracks that I have come across. And why is nitric oxide super interesting? Well, that is because nitric oxide is what increases the blood flow and thus sends that message, more blood, more oxygen to the working muscles. So we're tracking it all the way at the root. So a very simplified way to say this is nitric oxide, the more, the better. This is basically a way to measure how efficient you are at sending blood and oxygen to your muscles. So a number that with the Nnoxx device here, we can get immediate live insights, and also obviously backed up by some good software, we can read that data later on to assess basically how good are we at what we're doing, how are we the most efficient, and obviously you can use those numbers. Don't really have to, because the Nnoxx, the app, the AI will do it for you and tell you what intensity to go at to get better. It is very simplified in the way I just explained it, but in this video I'll try and dive into it and make you understand how you can actually use this practically to become a better athlete in just about any field. But why do we need the Nnoxx when we have other tracking devices? Nitric oxide is super cool, but can we just use a heart rate monitor? We can, but this will not be anywhere near as precise. This is, as you probably know if you train with one, is very influenced by the time of the day, how you feel, the adrenaline, if you had caffeine or not, if it's warm, if it's cold. This will give you very different numbers, whereas the nitric oxide is the immediate live intensity. So how hard is this and how efficient are my muscles? Muscle oxygen and nitric oxide will tell you that as you go, and there is no influential factors. If you look at a bike, you have the power pedals, but those are just your external output. It won't actually tell you how hard it is for your body to push those watts, only off the very day where you did your performance test assessment and got those key numbers for your training zones. If not, well, the bike is just gonna tell you how hard you're pushing into a cleat, but not how hard it is for your muscle. So you don't really know if that's easy or hard for you. So really just the only ways to see how hard the muscles are working, other than the live measurement here, would be a VO2 max mask, which is not the most convenient. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of money. You can also go do it in a lab, which again would be very expensive. Or finally, we have the lactate strips, the old-fashioned version here, which will tell you how much lactic acid you built. But again, it's about $4.50 per little testing, and as you may know or figure it out, it will not do it instantly, because you gotta poke a little hole in your finger in order to actually understand or see how much blood lactate you have. All of those are basically the reasons why I ordered a Nnoxx device. It is $39, starting at $39 a month, so that would already be earned back in 2 training sessions of using a lactate measurement tool here, lactate meter, or just give you more precise information than basically any other lab or testing method there is. So mounting the Nnoxx sleeve is extremely simple. There's this little thing, you can see that slides in and out, that's what you charge. You can also just leave it in and then it'll charge. It's extremely light, and one big benefit that Nnoxx has compared to the other oxygen device that I've tried is that it is a sleeve, but it is fully detachable, so you don't have to like pull it up your leg. You can just wrap it around it and strap it in with Velcro. So the little thing goes in there, and then you simply just take it around. I generally prefer my right thigh, and then strap it in here, put it on the outside. The app will guide you to this. Put it about there, and then obviously if you're putting it somewhere else, you will of course put that as where you put it, and then it's already on. It'll connect immediately to the phone, and you're good to ride or run or whatever you do. So let's get a little specific. What exactly will this give you in terms of data and information that you can act on? It has 3 main kind of things that it can give you. They're divided in 3 different chapters basically on the app that you get in your phone. Here showing you the 3 different types of workouts. There's the guided, the unguided, and the assessment. The assessment is my big favorite. We're in only 4.5 minutes going through different intensities. It will show you your readiness. And it's awesome because you can use this in any sport. It's not based off your watts or heart rate. It's based off your RPE and your live nitric oxide muscle oxygen. Well, that's gonna give you the exact number for how your legs are actually doing in that moment. It's basically like doing a VO2 max test every single day in just 4 minutes before the workout. I'm a big fan of that. It's so easy, it's so fast, and compared to the way I've done this previously, it is extremely simple. And those are going to be classified in 3 categories: your endurance, your power, and your overall efficiency. So this is probably the most reliable way in terms of how ready are you for a workout. Most of you guys probably know that I'm tracking everything here. So when I wake up in the morning, I can see how recovered my body is and how ready is it in terms of nervous system, overall resting heart rate, and so on. But this one will actually give you how good are your muscles at performing in this very moment as you're about to start a workout. And cool part is you can do this whether you're out running or cycling or skiing or skating. So very, very nice to have it in all modalities. The second option is the one I use the most. It is the unguided workout. So basically you do whatever you feel like, you just put this on for your normal workout. And then at the end of it, it'll give you a performance assessment, like how well did you do? Also again, based on your nitric oxide. You can also see it as you go through the workout, tracking your muscle oxygen. Fantastic indicator of how hard this actually is. You can aim for specific numbers here, and if you have a good coach, he will give you some indications here, or you can even do it yourself, seeing this is the intensity I want to reach. A bit the same way you use a heart rate monitor probably, or power pedals, except now you base it on the live intensity and strain on your muscles. It's super interesting that you can do the same workouts week over week over, and then see how your body adapts to that and see the amount of nitric oxide. I think a lot about cycling, a lot about skating because those are my sports, but using this in weightlifting is super, super interesting. Imagine a world where you wouldn't actually have to do your max squat, the fatigue that comes with it, or the risk of injury to get an idea of where you are strength-wise, but you will simply just pop this thing on, do 5 reps at say 50% of your max, and you can see how adapted you are to this exercise just based on the nitric oxide numbers. Same goes for all other sports, cycling at a certain wattage, or skating at a certain speed, and it'll give you like, this is how hard it actually is. I have personally tested with muscle oxygen with other devices that a high heart rate is not necessarily equal a high intensity or an intensity that I can't keep for long. I quickly realized that by tracking muscle oxygen, I might actually feel like I'm working harder, but my muscles are not, which in the end, as we discussed here in the introduction, the limiting factor is very, very likely to be at what point can I transport enough blood and muscle oxygen, or oxygen to the muscles. And the final thing you can use the Nnoxx for here, the third program, is probably the most innovative of them. I would say it appeals especially to athletes that don't have a full-time coach like myself. It is the guided workout. This is fantastic, based using the nitric oxide and the muscle oxygen insights, like pairing that with AI technology. It will tell you what's the best you can do in order to get more efficient, in order to get fitter, basically. So you plug in, I have 40 minutes to train, and you pop the sleeve on, and then over the next 40 minutes, it's gonna tell you specifically push harder, push less, and that's gonna be your ideal workout for that given time. I obviously wouldn't make this video if I didn't think it's the thing you should go out and try immediately, because it is pretty fantastic, and I see few scenarios where this is not gonna be the main way to measure intensity within very few years. There's just so many different practical uses to this thing. Before every session, you can do a 4.5 minutes readiness test that'll show you how ready are you, and you can adjust your workouts based on that. For the average user, the time efficiency that this device will give you is just incredible. You plug in the amount of minutes you want to train, and it gives you immediate insights and recommendations on how to get the most out of that. You can track your progress with the software, especially if you use a laptop. It has this high performance platform that will give you some really cool trends, especially if you do testing with the same workouts week after week or month after month, and it can tell you like you got better, you got worse, and what to do to fix that. I also think in technical sports, or sports where you play around with the position or the cadence, it is very, very interesting that you can find out, is this the best position for me on a time trial bike? Is this the right skating position, the right cadence when I'm out riding or running? Test different shoes, different setups. I think that's fantastic. It's basically a wind tunnel, but with your external input or output. That's pretty wild. It gives you immediate insights, so it saves you thousands of dollars and probably thousands of days in terms of making adjustments to see what your body is more efficient doing. And ultimately, it is just the smartest way to measure your intensity. I think any scientist out there will agree with me on this, that it is it's the most precise number, much better than heart rate or power meters, because it is the live exhaustion in the muscles that you are working with. It's simply much cheaper and faster than VO2 masks or blood lactate alternatives. I obviously invite all of you to look into the Nnoxx device. I'll leave a link below. Try it out. You're gonna save a lot of money. If you are serious about your training, then this is the modality, the way to do it. And it is just gonna give you more precise insights, and using the performance platform is absolutely amazing. If you're a coach out there, click on, I think there's a specific tab on their website where you can find a way to get this to all your athletes, because it's a fantastic way to track mass progress, so to say, and just gives you the most precise numbers, so you know what is your trend, where are people going, where are you going. And I also think by tracking the muscle oxygen, tracking the nitric oxide, you're also gonna unlock a lot of things in terms of like how can you actually get better at this. Aerobic training, interval training, better breathing. It's one thing that I've been doing a lot. When I use my nasal band from intake, it does really make a difference in terms of nitric oxide and muscle oxygen. And that's just one idea of things you can immediately change and see, does that actually matter? Putting on a tighter skin suit when I'm out skating is worse for the nitric oxide and muscle oxygen, but does it make me faster in terms of aerodynamics? Things I just tested immediately. So things like that is just wild that you can do like that. This is, I could mention a million different things. Your warm-up routines, your pre-workout nutrition, hydration. For me, it's been a game changer so far, and I look forward to using it, especially in all the different sports that I do. It's really the only one that makes sense to use both in the gym, but also when you're out on a bike. Heart rate monitors are just very different in these fields, and even the best tracking devices will always give you a weightlifting session was not really a workout, where this one will definitely tell you that if you put enough kilos in a bar, it's a strain to your muscles. So check the Nnoxx out and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done that yet. I am looking forward to using this guy as I train for the 2026 Winter Olympics. I'll see you for the next video.